Any pencil. Also, please add the matcha tea to the break room for... Yes, come in. Hello, Harry. Hello, Buck. How was your day? Not so good. Oh? Why is that? Is there a reason the old man gets frag grenades, Harry? Get yourself a custom-built PC specifically designed for Rainbow Six Siege at Apex PCs at the link in the description. So, dudes. To this day, people are pissed off about Buck losing his frag grenades.
To this day!
And it's a testament to just how big of a deal this nerf was at the time that it happened, because months after the damage to Buck's damage output had been done, people still couldn't seem to get over it. But why is that? I know it might seem obvious to you, a lot of people had an objective problem with the nerf to begin with, but being mad at a nerf doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad nerf. Gamers get mad about changes to their favorite games all the time, myself included. Why? Leave Jaeger alone! We're going to explore this nerf a little bit more, analyzing Buck's balancing act with Sledge, his role as a vertical player, and whether or not the nerf was justified. Spoiler alert, in regards to my opinion, I think Buck did deserve a nerf, just probably not the way that you or Ubisoft might have been thinking. The issue with Buck's role in the game for a very long time was that he had a lot of competition with Sledge. Except that competition was relatively moot, unfortunately, because Buck could do everything that Sledge could do, except for a couple of things. Sledge could take out non-knifeable or shootable gadgets like Maestro cameras, as well as castle barricades, but in terms of sheer vertical play, Buck had and still has more options than Sledge. Buck can deal with utility from anywhere, really, provided that there are enough soft surfaces for him to destroy. He can buck from a distance, making it more difficult to gauge his movement with C4 if you're trying to deny it from below. He can cover more ground with a skeleton key more quickly. His assault rifle has a higher rate of fire than Sledge's L85, with moderately high but still learnable and therefore manageable recoil. Buck. It's Sledge, but better. So Buck's usage of frag grenades made up for the fact that he couldn't sledge out the stuff that Sledge could. If the primary advantage Sledge had over Buck was his ability to get rid of Maestro cameras, was that good enough? He has the SMG-11, that's true. It certainly makes Sledge a force to be reckoned with in close quarters. His primary and secondary weapons combined make him capable of fighting at long, medium, and close ranges, all with a great degree of confidence and capability. So I suppose there's an argument to be had there. However, when it came to making holes in stuff, Sledge was slower and just less efficient than Buck.
3, 2, 1, go! Bloody hell!
But what I think confused more people than anything else was swapping out Buck's frag grenades for a claymore. A claymore in general is, for sure, quite alright. If he's worried about weirdos running out from hookah while he tries to get into VIP, he could do that. But then again, so could a friendly Twitch, or IQ. Why'd it have to be him? A smart Buck in a team composition never solo pushed a room anyway. They always went in with a buddy to back up their refrag. It gives Buck more autonomy, which is something he never really needed in the first place, considering he was already basically a one-man army, capable of tearing apart a floor and shredding people from above with his very good C8 safer work. But anybody who runs breaching charges when the occasion calls for it will tell you that frag grenades aren't 100% necessary to take care of business. They're just nice to have. Hell, you can still take care of business even without them. I see so many people scared to get vertical control unless they have all the required tools in their toolbox that they feel are necessary to get wall control. You also have a neat little gadget called your gun, and that sometimes can work just as well. The frag grenades are a nice bonus, and not necessarily used in conjunction with Buck's gadget all the time. It was never really about making holes and tossing grenades through them. It was that little extra destructive push against gadgets from far away, as well as opponents in nooks and crannies. Buck was in a perfectly balanced spot, and I can say that with relative confidence based off of the win deltas released for him before the nerf took place. So if the idea was to make Sledge a more appealing operator as opposed to Buck, what could have been the solution instead? When they took away Buck's frag grenades, they gave him more skeleton key ammo. I think every Sledge main in the world read that line and went, huh? Sledge was already having a hard time keeping up as it was. The answer to the problem could have been simpler. Instead of taking flexibility away from Buck, they could have adjusted his gadget. Sledge would be great for covering more ground, with the trade-off being speed. Buck would be great for getting holes open fast, the trade-off being less ground covered. If Buck had lost a magazine off of his skeleton key, I don't think Buck mains would have complained. I think even most of them would have known at the time that Sledge was having a hard time competing with him. Hell, they were probably Buck mains for that very reason, instead of Sledge mains. But now it's too late, and there's nothing you can do about it. Sorry! It won't keep people from bringing it up when I queue, but I often wonder what could have been that may not be. Does that mean Buck is a cuck? No, Buck is still a great operator. He can still do everything that he did before. He just can't commit wanton destruction on the same level as Sledge. Ultimately, having lines of sight with the skeleton key and being able to do it from all sorts of different angles make Buck the operator a choice for geometry enthusiasts everywhere. I just think the standards for frag grenades and who gets these coveted exploding apples are a bit arbitrary, and more to do with, is this operator low in pick rate? Let's give him this thing. I think what's more important is the presence of frag grenades on attack, and Nook is still Nook, regardless of whether she has the secondary hard breach or her frag grenades. Finka is still Finka, regardless of the same thing. If the gadget really stinks and doesn't provide anything to the attacking team, it doesn't really matter if they have frag grenades or not. I'm not saying Buck should have been given a secondary hard breach instead, but attackers were already having a hard enough time as it is. I'm glad that they're getting more options to deal with the 20-second meta through Zero, but the guy has a Diet AK-12, intel capabilities, disabling capabilities, and frag grenades. What did Buck have? Okay.
Why is it bad that he's a unique opportunist?
I don't know, Pangu. I don't know. How do you feel about the Buck nerf to this day? Let me know in the comments of this video, and thank you so much for watching it. Deuces.